Darby Mills shares memories of the beginning of the band, the Headpins, and her leaving that group. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Book. Darby Mills is the real deal in rock. They don't call her the Queen of Scream for nothing. As the lead singer of the Headpins, they came out of the gate in the early 80s selling 600,000 copies of their debut album, Turn It Loud. And that's just in their native Canada. In all, there was 1 million sales worldwide. Now, Darby Mills is solo with a new live album and a remastered version of her first solo album, Never Look Back, which is now called Flying Solo. We asked Darby Mills about her new life and how she got into the Headpins and how she left for a second time not that long ago.
Well, back in the 80s, you played every day, every week, every month. You didn't not play. It was steady. So Chilliwack had just gone through the death of Shelley Siegel from Mushroom Records, and Too Loud and Ab were looking for work, so they put a band together, and Maddie from Loverboy was waiting for Loverboy's first album to come out. They were friends, so they put the Headpins together with Denise McCann, the original singer, and they were in the clubs. They were so loud. I remember I went with Steelback to see them at a club called Vancouver's Tonight, and we couldn't stay. It was so, I'm like going, I'm not going to be able to hear tonight to sing myself, so we have to leave. And I left, and about 3-4 weeks later, the boys from the Headpins showed up at a show I was doing with Steelback, and they didn't say anything to me. They just watched me sing, or watched the band, I guess. Our next show was, or next week of playing was in Edmonton, Alberta, Calgary, sorry. One of the mainstays in Alberta, and I got a phone call from McLeod, and he said, we'd like you to join the band. And I'm like, well, I'm like, what? That's crazy. And he says, no, take your time. I'll call you tomorrow. So I thought about it, and at the time, I still wasn't an even partner in Steelback. I was getting paid a little bit of money compared to the rest of them, because they'd been in the band for years, and I was a newbie. And I'm like, you know what, this opportunity, even though I was being told by anybody I talked to at the time that you're crazy, Chilliwack's going to get back together, this will never turn into anything other than a side project, and you'll be dropped as soon as Chilliwack gets back together. And all I could think of at the time was the opportunity to work with that talent. I'd be crazy to turn it down. So feeling that I wasn't really a real member in Steelback anyway, I might as well give it a shot. I did, and lo and behold, within 6 months we had a record contract. They didn't have the interest but until I joined the band, and I'm going to blow my own horn here. They didn't. They couldn't get a deal. They had the opportunity to be signed with Solid Gold, and they weren't. And when I joined the band, it was mere months later that we were signed, and off we were going into the studio to record the 3 songs we were already playing, and the rest were written while we were in the studio. So and I'm bringing this up because I've been taking a lot of flack for many years now about how I really don't deserve to be taking any credit for the success of the band, because it was all McLeod and the band's doing. And it's like, you know what? Okay, whatever. If that's the case, how come I'm the one that got sued in the end, and the one that ended up going bankrupt because I couldn't afford to pay the $500,000 debt that was on my head to recoup for the then management. So if I wasn't responsible for anything, then how come I was responsible for the debt? Yeah. Other than just being an idiot and being the only one that signed the paper the first time around. So whatever, what a business, crazy business.
The legal stuff, I barely know anything about it, but what happened? Do you want to talk about it? If you don't, it's okay.
You know what, I've brought it up, or had it been brought up before, and it's terrible. It's a mess. Every band has their own horror stories, and Headpins was nothing different. I've put it down to, for many years now, the fact that it came out of a terrible situation. It was just kind of cursed that we were always going to have to deal with that dark reason why it was born. And but you know, Brian McLeod is as much of a genius and an incredible musician that he was very much the man in control, and things as the band got bigger, I was told by the label we were signed to, one of the labels we were signed to, we had many deals, that when the interviews started coming in and they started asking for me, and not Brian, it affected the way things happened. And, as someone put it, was it like a boot camp working with or for Brian McLeod? And it was, and I'm grateful for learning what I learned from him, because he was an extremely talented individual, but he definitely had his way of doing things. And I got to the point where I had my opinion of things, and I'm a Sagittarius. I say what I think, and it got me into trouble and has many times, and I don't think that's going to change. I speak my mind. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and it's come back to bite me, and that's how I lost my job with the Headpins the first time. And what do? You just keep going, and after that, he went on with a new singer, and I went on with a new contract, and the story goes on from there. And then he got very sick, and we lost him.
I didn't realize that it got to a point where, did you go bankrupt or almost went bankrupt?
I had to go bankrupt, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, music is free now. Music is free, and some bands make money through touring. Unfortunately, there are less gigs and less classic rock gigs. And when you upset people that have put themselves in a position or worked to put themselves in a position to control who works and who doesn't, when you upset those people, it makes it very hard to continue to work. And I've, as I said, I've done a great job of speaking my mind and not letting people cage me or put me in a position that I disagree with. So here I am again after 25 years of reworking the Headpins with a new group of people. There were things I wanted to do and answers I wanted that were not allowed and were not going to be given. So I decided that you can't sit and bitch and bitch and bitch and not do anything about it, because then you just become the bitch, right? So I was tired of being that, and I was told I would never work again, and decided that I would take the chance and have a great group of people around me right now. And luckily enough, I've just been repicked up by the Feldman Agency, which is who was my management company back in the early days. So hopefully water has long gone under that bridge, and we'll develop a new working relationship in the new year. And I'd like to keep singing. I'd like to keep my stuff. If not, I've been in the business 40 years. It's been a great run. Not that it's been easy, and not that it's been all fun, but I'm grateful for the good times.
For more on Darby, go to darbymills.com. She also makes her own jewelry, which was a hobby. She kept rocks from when she was a little kid. And when she had some downtime, she kind of opened up the box and did something magical with all those rocks. You can buy all of that on her website as well as her solo music. Go to darbymills.com. We'll have more from Darby Mills on our sister channel, Rock History Canada. We've got a plethora of backlog of classic In the Vaults interviews that we wanted to share with you. There'll be links to Rock History Canada in the description of this video. Make sure you comment on our video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Book.